keep sharing because we're building and building and building. We are doing what you asked for. You said, God, what's going on in our community? God, take the wheel. Oh, Jesus, intervene. Well, we're here to say, we're here to do it. We got the solutions you've been asking for. And we are right here. And so, every day on the day, to give you what you've been asking for. And I say it time and time again. Here in Chicago and around the country. Stop asking God to answer a prayer that he's already answered. Giving us the power to do. You said God intervened, he's intervened. You said Jesus take the wheel, he gave you the wheel. So now it's up to you. You, and everybody listening and watching right here, as we change the narrative, as we become the leaders we've been looking for. Once again, I want to kick off my show dedicating it to, as I go through my social media pages and others, I've discovered several more people just yesterday and this week who are fighting their respective fights with cancer. And I want to encourage them and to encourage you and to encourage us to keep on holding on. And I want to say something to somebody else. See, everybody's body is different. Mine is different, yours is different, but all I can do is testify. When all of my doctors said that my cancer was a miracle, because, how was that, Mark? Glad you asked. Listen, this time last year at Thanksgiving, I was falling out, throwing up, out of breath, and lost 50 pounds, and I didn't know what was going on. And little did I know that I was going through my stage 1 and then stage 2 as that colon cancer sneaks up on you. And I was self-medicating. I didn't go to the doctor. I was self-medicating myself. I got a gallon of Pepto-Bismol and then went to the doctor and got all these, they gave me acid reflux pills and all these other, it was everything. Until they finally found out all of that was wrong. I had went through the first and second stages of cancer. And when I finally ended up, and I remember like yesterday, my sister came and picked me up off the floor in my office. I was falling out, going up, didn't know what was going on, howling, screaming. And so, oh Lord. But we're still here today to testify. But I'm saying that to tell some other people. Because here's what happened. After all that, when I finally got to the doctor, they had immediately, they said, and I tell the story all the time, but that's my testimony. I can't be here without this testimony. But when I got there, and the doctors immediately said, you're almost 2 days away from death, and you've got to have immediate radiation and chemo. But grace be to God. When all the doctors said, we don't know why, 6 months later, no chemo, no radiation. Now see, outside of just the Almighty God himself, I attribute the rest of the miracle to the alkaline water. The alkaline water, and I know everybody's body is different. All I can tell you, and you, and everybody, is my testimony. And it might help somebody else. Because the doctors could not explain, outside of a miracle, why I went from being diagnosed with immediate chemo and immediate radiation to 6 months later, no chemo, no radiation. And outside of the grace of God, the only other thing that I can attribute it to is my obsession with drinking alkaline water. Cancer cells can't live in alkaline water, and I hope that as it helped me, what helped me might be somebody else's miracle, right? Because the doctor still said, we can't explain. You were supposed to have, in your condition, you were supposed to have immediate chemo and radiation, and 6 months later you didn't. So I'm grateful to God today, and as we approach this Thanksgiving holiday, I'm thankful for the intervention that I ended up not having chemo, not having radiation, and I'm just sharing with you, I live and breathe by this alkaline water. And I hope it can be another miracle for you as it was for me. And so I'm praying right now for all of those who I've been scrolling through my pages, and I've seen several more people on my pages here locally and around the country that are fighting their own battles with cancer. Some in and out of the hospital. As a matter of fact, I just put a post on Jose Sanders' page from Channel 7 telling them the same thing. Hang in there. Stay rooted in God. Keep praying. And because only God can get you through these kinds of situations. And so here we are. Let us keep praying and let us keep fighting. And I see you, Marcus Jefferson, this time next year, we got to have another campaign for us to go and teach a current and new generation of our folk on how to prevent this cancer, how to treat the cancer, how to sustain and move on. And so we need you to join this campaign, and we want you, and that's another reason why you need to log in to our UBM channel, log in to our UBM radio page. It takes all of 5-10 seconds to do that. So that, because at a certain point, beloved, we are going to have to be the leaders we have been looking for. And so many of us, and I say it all the time, and I said it today on my pages, some of us seem to sit back and purposely wait for the pain to come. And then we go name dropping on who didn't say what, who didn't do when. And I'm saying, we got to stop it. We got to step up. You, cameras here, and YouTube, you don't have to wait on Jackson, Sharpton, Farrakhan, nobody. This is us being the leaders that we have been looking for. And we can turn this whole city and world around because we become the modern day Ezekiels. I didn't come to preach, but I can. Modern day Ezekiels to breathe life to these valley of dry bones. Lord have mercy, so much going on in our community, and yet our bones are still dry. 30 years after Harold Washington, our bones are still disconnected and still dry. And I can talk about it. Right now, issues going on in our community, we can make it happen. Let me run across some of these news items. And again, let me say this to you also. I spoke to the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr. Didn't talk to him long, but just enough to let him know that I appreciated him during this current health crisis for him. And I'm there for him because he was there for me when him and Marcus Jefferson and others, when I thought I was on my deathbed, it was the Reverend Jesse Jackson who was right there to pray for me. As they made a mistake and put me on the hospice floor, I just knew. I cried, and I cried. I wept a lot of nights down there in that hospital, and I'm thinking I was going to make it, but joy came in the morning. Oh, I didn't come to preach, but I can. I'm just here to tell you, and so I'm there for him. And I said something else. I talked to Cliff Kelly today, Marcus Jefferson, and others that are listening. We are the leaders we've been looking for. Here's what I said. I'm just one man with one opinion. But here's what I said. In spite of what's going on with Reverend Jackson's health and all that right now, I'm just one man with one opinion. But I think right now, in this age of political correctness, that now is the time for the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr. to be the keynote speaker at the next City of Chicago Dr. King breakfast. Now that's my opinion. And I shared it with the mayor's office, and I shared it with others, and I'm gonna keep on lobbying for it. It's only November. Ain't nobody been announced yet. I'm just saying, after all these years of living in Chicago, the city can travel all over the country and all over the globe to find keynote speakers to speak on the Dr. King legacy. And I'm just saying, again, just one man with just one opinion. I called. Didn't need nobody's permission. I just happened to call the mayor's office to say, again, just one man, one opinion. But I think now is the politically correct time. Now is the time. In dealing with Reverend Jackson himself, now is the time to have Reverend Jackson as the keynote speaker for the 2018 Dr. King Breakfast, sponsored by the City of Chicago. Lots going on. I got more going on. I see somebody getting me. I guess I got something to say about and I see you, about the situation going on in Monson School and all that. I say it over and over again, and I'll say it again. And I'll come right back to that. Just hold on. Off our news wires right here. The Woodlawn House and the school attended by Emmett Till, the 14-year-old boy who was brutally murdered to help spark our civil rights movement, may become a Chicago landmark. Why? Had you asked. The advocacy group, Preservation Chicago, pitched in the idea to the city in September, days after Till's cousin Simeon Wright died. Wright was with Emmett in Money, Mississippi in 1955 when two white men kidnapped Till and killed him, and we all know that history. But right now, in the Woodlawn community, the home that Emmett Till lived in, they want to make a landmark. And we can do that because some people say preserve the ancient landmarks. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen, well, I guess I have, but I've never seen so many Christian folk do unchristian stuff in my judgment. Lord have mercy, I say that for another show. But my goodness, there's a lot going on when it comes to this city. But listen, we've got a lot of ongoing programming going on in our organizing, and I want to talk about it because there's some things we can do, right? And one of the things we're going to do, Rosita, I'll check you out after the break, but I'm just saying, I was down with some funders a few months ago, and one of the things that we want to work on, I ain't got time to do it, but since I make time to chase down all these funder meetings and all that, I just spoke to them. I was just speaking on the black economic issue. Philip Jackson was there, and Otis Monroe and others, but I said, well, while I'm here, let me just say this. One of the things that I think some of these foundations should consider, I talked to Rod Sawyer yesterday, chairman of the Black Caucus, told him the same thing. Let's have a budget. And again, I can't speak to everybody's issue, ain't trying to. I don't have the time or the energy, right? But at the same time, I shared with him a couple of the top 10 issues that I would like to work on with you in the Black Caucus. And again, my issue ain't everybody's, right? But a few of them is, I want the Black Caucus support on the work that we're doing as an assist agency to increase more contracting opportunities for the black community. Want to do that. Then number two, we want the Black Caucus' support for the work the National Black Wall Street Chicago and the Monroe Foundation and our Community Investment Organizing Project is doing with the city on, once again, not just the money that we fought for Illinois Service Federal to finally get over $20 million in our tax dollars invested in our community for development, but even more. There's more money at the city level, there's more money at the county level, there's more money at the state level when it comes to our own tax dollars that can be used as economic deposits in our own majority black communities for our development. And then I said to them, that was just two or three. Two more that I said when I was just sitting there. I remember Bobby Rush, Congressman Rush, and some others, they sponsored legislation in response to the shortage of black nurses in the black community. They sponsored $1 million project that brought hundreds and thousands of foreign nurses and doctors to the black community to fill the void. And I'm saying, this time next year, why don't we go back and spend some of those same $1 million to go back and reignite the program that used to exist at Kennedy King that actively and systematically recruited black nurses into the black community. Then let's go back and use some of those same dollars to recruit more of our black youth and others to become teachers in our majority black communities. Now, I can't solve everything for everybody. That is just mine. And I want to hold myself accountable to just that. And then I was talking to Brian Mullins earlier, you know, and the same thing when it comes to civic education. We lobbied them about that too. And I don't want to do it for me, but if you can help fund me and others, then I can help empower others, like the 25 and the Mark Watt. We can help empower other people who are ready to do the work. Because one, and I'll say this again, over and over again, it makes no freaking sense to have hundreds of millions of dollars designated specifically for black community development. And it's some of the same black people who can get on social media saying ain't no dollars and what ain't. Then where in the hell are you when you let other minority groups come and apply and receive the very dollars that wasn't designed for minority, it was designed for black people. Oh, I didn't come to preach, but I can. And then you sit around, sometimes, right? We can watch Empire, we can watch Power, we can watch Who Killed Who, and whatever going on, but we miss the meaning when it comes to real power and real empires. I'm just one man with one opinion. Didn't come to preach, but I can. But that's the stage that I'm trying to set. Because you can't do it both ways. You can't get up all day reacting to what somebody else is doing. I promise you, every time I announce on my page, it bothers me sometimes when more other ethnic groups monitor my page and everything that they see I post when it comes to access to capital and funding. They all call me and say, is this just for black people? Because if it ain't, here they come, under minority. And then here they come, getting the money to come back into the black community that was designed for us. And then the people who didn't show up, who was too busy to be bothered, then here they come. Usual suspects got the money. Well, you're right, they did. It's a tedious process. And again, it gives me another chance to say thank you to those who have helped me since I've gotten back from my cancer. And we'll talk about that too. And so much that is going on right now. We'll take a break. This is veteran activist Mark Allen, chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago, in the spirit and legacy of the original Black Wall Street of Tulsa. And we're here right now on the UBM Radio TV network. Hold on. King Center closed. Okay, I see that. All right. It's 5 years. Okay, I see that too. Okay, now let me check this.
Started in 1940, brings its salty soul back November 22nd, just in time for Thanksgiving. And the whole tasty menu is back. Ribs, hot links, rib tips, wings, you name it, it's all back.
Hey, Chef, I post it every day on the I post it every day on the day on my page. I'll make it when I get back on the air. Yeah, man, I feel weak, man. It's all right. We go up and down. Craig, I see you. Ron, I see you. Emily, I see you. Others, I see you. Rosina, and the names went back too fast. Right? But I'm here to respond to everybody. Right? But it all points back to what are we going to do to step up and not talk about, I know I got it. I'm working on it right now. I'm working on it. Only need one, need two. I'll try that. I'll try that. I'm working on it. Let your voice be heard. All right. Turn down the commercial. We'll do that next time. All right, we got it. 754-433. So, we got this one on. We got to step up. Oh, yeah, I'm coming. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and people of God here in Chicago and around the globe. Thank you. You're in the midst of another Mark Allen show. Hear my voice, and you're hearing my voice right now, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Some people call it every day. We are here, 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m., 2 p.m., and may even expand. But we can't expand without your help. And we need your help right now because we're building a black-owned and operated independent news agency, right? And We need your help to build that. And so many of you who I read post on social media always saying, what are the solutions? And Lord have mercy, every single day, every single hour that I read all of these hundreds and thousands of social media posts just on my page. And I had over 10,000 friends, post all day long. Not to mention all of the Black Wall Street and National Black Wall Street, Chicago pages. And I'm saying, when you put together everything that you read, everybody is right. Everybody knows the solutions. So the question becomes, if everybody can post what all the solutions are, then why ain't we solving more? Because we're too busy being disconnected. We're too busy being disconnected. We're too busy trying to solve things on our own. We're too busy trying to jack people in corners, saying do this or that. Change the narrative. It ain't this or that. It's this and that. And so that's why we want YouTube, and there's more and more reason why you need to subscribe to the UBM radio TV page on the UBM channel, right, on YouTube, because all day long you can get the ongoing programming. A lot of the things you asked for, you said it. Lord, intervene. Lord, what are the solutions? Well, we put them all right here. How long you going to run from what the solutions are? Feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, fighting for the least of these. All day long on UBM programming, do you hear these programs? Well, you can chime in right now. And I'll say this over and over, because people, it ain't nothing but the devil who keeps sending people. When I get up here and say, here are the 5 issues I'm working on, here comes 20 more people to say, why are you talking about that? Well, tell you what, here's my voice. Get your own voice and talk about what you want. Here's what I've decided. To me, in operational unity, despite all of the challenges that we're going through, despite all of the differences that we go through, I like to think, in my wisdom now, that despite our differences, can we unite around the issue of not letting hundreds of millions of dollars come into the banking institutions in majority black communities where those dollars are not being challenged to invest in sustaining and increasing black community business and black jobs in our own majority black communities? Can't we agree, despite our other differences, that over $400 million that has still been designated to the city of Chicago for development of community-based housing on the south and west sides, can't we agree that we need to be at the table to make sure that black community contractors and black housing developers get access to those contracts and thousands of jobs? Can't we agree on that? And then other than that, can't we agree that the same way that Malcolm X and Dr. King did and all Elijah Muhammad, can't we agree that despite our differences, at the end of the day, beloved, can't we agree that no matter where you are in a majority black community, that more of our people should be spending the dollars that they spend every day in the community to sustain and increase black business in their own community and can put thousands of black people to work? Can we agree on that? And then can we agree, as Dr. King said in his Poor People's Campaign, right? Can we agree that we should stop spending our dollars with corporate leaders who don't want to come in the history of Dr. King's Poor People Campaign and invest in black community business, black professional service providers, don't put black products on the shelf? Friends, if we set aside our personalities and stay on purpose, if we set aside what we don't like about messengers and stay on message, those two things alone can turn our communities around. And right? And so you don't have to wait on nobody else to do it. You can do it. We're joining the campaign, what we call tissue is the issue. And what do I mean by that? I'm glad you asked. Listen, right now, in majority black communities, and especially for people who used to tell me, but Mark, you shouldn't always depend on outside funders, right? You got to start doing something that can help you be independent at the core and not need outside funders. And you're right, because it ain't Black Wall Street if me and my leadership ain't financially owned by the black dollars from the black people you're trying to represent at the core. And so we're going to start this new campaign called Tissue, Tissue, Tissue is the issue. Tissue is the issue, right? And so what I mean by that is this. In the black community, I see hundreds of people who text me all the time and say, we ain't got no extra money. Oh, my budget too tight. All that. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't have to convince you. So say you're right. I believe you. You ain't got no extra money. Well, I'll tell you what. If you ain't got no extra money, I'll tell you some money that you spend money on every day without no extra money. And that's on toilet paper. Right? And I'm telling you that multi-millions and billions of dollars are spent in majority black communities every day as we speak, buying toilet paper for $1 and toilet paper from the neighborhood gas station, toilet paper from Walgreens and Walmart. Well, I tell you what, they ain't gonna miss the money. The new campaign right now is this, and I thank you, Brother Kerry Phil, I see you. He brought a whole box of black-owned and operated and manufactured toilet paper that's now here in Chicago on 79th Street. They're right here. So what you can do right now, is buy some black-owned toilet paper. Ex-offenders on the street, they'll never offend again because they got a legal product to sell. Sisters ain't selling their bodies no more because they're selling a legal product that can put food on their table. And some people may never have to offend at all because they got a legal product that you, and everybody, and YourTube watching and hearing me, you can help solve that right now. Right? You ain't got to wait on Farrakhan. You ain't got to wait on Jesse. You ain't got to wait on Sharpton. Wait on yourself. And I'm asking you right now to call in and follow Brother Kerry. You personally buy some black-owned toilet paper. Buy some black-owned toothbrushes. Buy some black-owned paper towels. Buy some black-owned and manufactured dishwashing liquid and washing powder. All friends, with the leadership that you take, and you ain't got to wait on nobody but you. You report in like Kerry did and say, brother, you right. I heard your voice. And I brought toilet paper for my house. I brought toilet paper for my insurance business. Well, come on. Who's next? Come on. That's the new campaign right now. And you ain't got to wait on nobody. And so that's going on. And I hope by tomorrow I can catch up with Sister Tequila. I can catch up with Sister Cassie, going on in that same spirit. And the legacy of Black Wall Street. Listen, when you start talking about this Buy Black Friday, hear me now. That camera, this camera, and camera here. Look, listen to me. Right now, you don't have to go chasing downtown on Buy Black Friday. Turn that money around. And this weekend, this Thanksgiving, and we get all the details, and once again, I will post it on the UBM page. I will post it on my personal pages. I will post it on the Black Wall Street pages, because we got to get used to getting this information. Just like with me. Since I got back from my cancer, Otis Monroe and others have helped me go to all these different funders, and they're all saying, Mark, you got to catch up. And I'm like, catch up with what? Glad you asked. You got to catch up with the fact that a lot of our grant writing and proposals and updates and all that are now online. We're not going to keep chasing it down. If you're interested in our money and our contracts and our services, here's where we post it. Now you decide whether or not you can go over there and get it. So I'm saying all of these services, all of the programming, everything that I talk about, including the big Buy Black weekend coming up that we'll be posting, that you can now, you ain't got to go downtown. You can now go, right, in your own community, and they've got over 50 black-owned companies that you can go do all your Christmas shopping and buy black, right? And you can do that come this Friday. Give thanks that you're able to do that, right? And so that's what's more important. It ain't important, in my judgment, just one man, one opinion. It ain't important to go marching downtown. Come march in your own majority black neighborhood. March in your own black neighborhood with your own black dollars. And march with your own capacity to put more of your own black people to work and in business in the majority black communities where you live. And the more we do that, we're going to keep turning things around. Because one, I'm just saying, trust me when I tell you, right? There's so much going on that we're too busy whipping each other's behind. We're too busy beating each other down that we can't unite on operational unity. There's got to be some issues that despite our differences, we can still unite around. And then I remember the sister, and I think about her every day, when she went on my website and said, is that all you do? Is consumer education? I say, well, sister, as I thought about it, well, if I didn't do nothing else, in a majority black community where right now hear this, and I know I'm kind of slow, so I'm going to say it twice, and over again, right? In the city of Chicago, it only takes, and Chicago's just an example, right? It only takes $3 billion spent to sustain up to 50,000 jobs. Okay, let me slow down. In Chicago, as an example, because the world is watching. Well, let's see what Chicago do, Mark. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm telling Chicago, the people around the world are watching you. And they're looking. If you want us to do it in Detroit, and Cleveland, and Newark, can you do it in Chicago? And I say, yes, we can. And here's what I'm saying. I didn't come to preach, but I can. Here's what I'm saying. It only takes $3 billion spent to sustain up to 50,000 jobs. Now hear this. Right now in the city of Chicago, we spend collectively over $50 billion into the Chicago economy. Lord, that means God has already answered your question. The Lord has already intervened, gave you and you and you and you the power to take your own will. What you gonna do with the $50 billion that you're spending right now? You gonna keep on running to the neighborhood gas station? $1 a roll. You gonna keep going to non-black owned hair care stores and beauty supply stores who don't have a damn bank account in the black community? Sisters, you gonna keep making their butts rich? Then don't come back here talking about shaking my head. Oh, I didn't come to preach, but I can. I'm just saying. And I say that to sisters because black women in Chicago are the majority registered voters. Black women in Chicago and other cities too are the majority in consumer spending. And I got a problem. And we got to change the narrative, sisters. When I walk down 47th Street and I see black women lined up for the Korean nail shop to see the Korean lady do your nails and your feet, and then the ladies don't even want to breathe, but they put it on your fingers. They got a mask on their nose, so whenever they put it on your fingers, they ain't even gonna breathe it. They ain't gonna breathe it, you gonna breathe it, and you, and all sisters you do that. Yeah, and y'all gonna pay for it. And then get up the next day wondering why sisters selling their bodies when they should be doing nails. They can be trained to do that. Sisters who need to be doing feet, they can do that too. So I appeal to sisters going into the next year. We got to organize and we got to change the narrative, right? And then I saw somebody talking about the mayor's race. Well, I'm gonna say that too. And all I can tell you is this: 30 years after Harold Washington, we just as disconnected now as we were 30 years when he died. Because people don't want to admit truth. Other people still 30 years later say shut up. 30 years later, we can't unite. And so some of us are like sophisticated gangbangers. Our own neighborhood, our own leadership, our own this, my way or no way. We got to deal with that too. And so, but at the end of the day, I'll tell you this. Change the narrative. Rahm Emanuel won and got reelected with less than 30% of Chicago voters. Hear me! I didn't come to preach, but I can, but hear me. When people tell me, well, the majority of black people voted for Rahm, well, change the narrative. The majority of the 30% that voted, the real challenge is, despite how many millions, despite all the endorsements from Obama and every Democrat running, at the end of the day, despite all of the millions, less than 30% elected and re-elected Rahm. So the real challenge is, who represents, keep lying on Facebook, who represents the 70% that's still disconnected? And in my last count, I went to public school too, but I'm saying I can still count. And I still believe that 70% of the non-voters are way more than the less than 30% that people keep winning. So we got work to do. That's why in my later years in life, sometimes I don't care who wins nothing. Y'all just keep running. You know, so y'all keep running. At the end of the day, what's more important to me is that no matter who wins, go downtown now and look at the black people walking around City Hall like it's a tourist attraction. Don't know what a damn bathroom is. But you on Facebook act like you're running something. And you ain't running nothing. Old James Brown song, talking loud, saying nothing. Oh, listen, I didn't come to preach, but I can. Listen, I'm saying at the end of the day, here's where the real work comes. Beloved, 70% of the disconnected got to be connected. And 70% of those who are not voting can outvote the 30% that do. That is what it is. And I'm just going to tell you. And you take it or let it alone, right? I'm veteran activist. I can't see that. You know, I got cancer. I'm just playing. Okay, here we come. I'm veteran activist Mark Allen, chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago, and we're here on another edition of the Mark Allen Show. You hear my voice right now, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Some call it every day, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. right here. And we'll be back on the UBM Radio TV Network.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver. I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sports
Got one of the buttons like Mick Jackson.
but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the senior served by
I see you, Karen. You're right. They'll bring the tissue to you. You're right. Lee Allen, I see you, man. Yo, new. Y'all know what I mean by new? And that's somebody. Denise Butler, I see you. Steve Kidd, I see you. Thank you. And I try to catch up with everybody as soon as the show is over. Some of the names went by too fast. But at the end of the day, we got to be about it. We're not here to analyze. We're here to organize. Right? And I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about it.
You know you ain't going to marry this girl. Now men want relationships.
And I see people all the time. They monitor my page every day to see if I'm alive. We got so much at stake, right? You say your life's good? I just left. My friends and hair experts, right in the Black Wall Street building, 4643 South King Drive. My boy Troy the barber took care of me. Thank you so much.
Ribs, hot links, rib tips, wings, you name it, it's all back. If it's good enough for Oscar-winning actor Denzel Washington to talk about it, it's good enough for me. Leon's Barbecue, returning November 22nd,
hair experts. Sisters, you can go down there now too. When you say boycott these other places, go to 47th Street and hair experts. They got a whole new virgin hair place down there. So you ain't got to keep going down 47th Street and keep giving all that money to a career folk. Go down to 47th Street and keep it in the black community where you see black women working, black bank accounts, black investments. And what I got to tell you about my girl Tony Shelton, it's just so much going on. Lord, I'm it's just so much going on. They always get the...
Hello, Dr. Cook.
All right, let me see. M&T.
Man, you were right, Mike. Man, that I feel a whole lot better looking at
I see you.
man.
That's deep.
Come on, you
You understand me?
Yeah,
Hear me when I tell you.
Good.
All right, Pittsburgh, the deadline for his office.
On UBM Radio.
I talked to T.O. Harmon.
Let your voice be heard.
He's coming in next week.
UBM Radio Hotline at
I'm working on it.
754-4343.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it too. Sharon, I see you.
Radio.
Thank you, I see you. I'm working on it. I'm working on all of that. Was that me back? Are you waving? Oh, okay. I'm doing everything. I'm trying to read all these names on the screen. We were on it. I'm glad all y'all tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, people down here in Chicago and around the globe, you're in the midst of the Mark Allen Show. Hear my voice. And you're hearing my voice right now on the UBM Radio TV Network. Now, friends, listen. Everybody, here's what happens. I know I might go out on faith selling wolf tickets, but the powers that be, they sit downtown and they have their little jokes on as they look at social media. And they look at people who are legends in their own mind on social media. They got some of the baddest social media posts that can't ever turn into 5 people coming to a meeting. And they just sit back and watch. And so I guess at some point, I guess I should be excited, or I guess I should be humble at the fact that they say they're monitoring me. Are people gonna really hear Mark's voice? Are they really gonna respond? And the question is, only you know, and you know. So we need to talk about what we're gonna do on this operational unity agenda. And I remember like it was yesterday. My late godmother, Reverend Willie Taplin Barrow, she said to me, son, before she got sick at 90 years old, she said the thing that made me valuable to all of the different black leaders is that I could care less about what divided us. I always found a way to find out what we could unite on. And we worked on that. And that's what we are lacking right now. Everybody is so busy celebrating how separate we are, but can't celebrate the things that I go through. I really shouldn't be going through this with the cancer and all that. And I'm just saying it because it's real. I'm working on my first year anniversary coming up. I got released from the hospital this time last year on Christmas Day. But on my way there, and I'm telling you, because it's the truth, because black men, black men, they get to self-medicating. You could be out in the street fighting, shooting, but too scared to go to the doctor. And here I am. I fell out. I was losing weight and all that, throwing up. My sister had to come pick me up off the floor, and we thought it was acid reflux, thought it was everything but cancer. And then finally, right by Christmas, I ended up finally in the emergency room. And they said, you are about to die. And sent me to the hospice floor. Lord have mercy. And here I am. So I'm going to share everything that I got because the devil thought he had me, but God came and grabbed me. Held me close, as the song says, and wouldn't let go. Not just then, but 3 more times. On my way to my first year anniversary, I had a relapse 3 times. And I saw some other people who didn't make it past the second time. So you're right. I got anxiety. I'm inundated. I'm animated. I'm all of that. Because I almost didn't have no voice. And I know what it means to lay on what you thought was your deathbed, crying to God, like a lot of us do. Oh, Lord, get me out of this. Oh, Lord, if you get me out of this, right? And I'm just saying, I can't let God down. So yes, I'm animated, I'm excited, and all of that. And I act like it might be a last day on earth. But here's what I'm saying at the end of the day, right? Because a lot of times, I can't keep up, and I'm responding to everybody that I see, and I'm so glad that you're tuning in and chiming in. But we got to prove to the pundits that we can do different. Because I'm serious. Because it's up to us. Do you know what would happen if the 10,000 friends that I've got on Facebook would buy black-owned toilet paper and black-owned tissue and black-owned toothpaste and black-owned toothbrushes and black-owned washing powder and black-owned detergent, black-owned paper towels. But we're going to start with tissue is the issue. Tissue is the issue. And I'm asking everybody, join the Tissue is the Issue campaign. So check in next week and say, I got my black-owned tissue. Be like Carrie Fuller. I got black-owned tissue in my home. I got black-owned tissue in my office. Some of my religious friends, I got black-owned tissue in my church. And do you know what would happen? Now the thousands, with the money that we spend every day, I ain't got to convince you, and if I do, you're in trouble. If I got to convince you to put money on toilet paper, I'll be in trouble. But I'm saying, on the money that you spend every day, friends, we are the leaders we've been looking for. And I don't need nobody to say go left, go right. No, here's what I'm saying. Now, if you don't believe it, tell me you don't believe it. Keep going to the corner gas store then. Buy your toilet paper. You keep running to Walmart and Walgreens. You keep on. But don't you keep tagging me when sisters out there selling their bodies. Don't you keep tagging me. Oh, not on my page. I ain't trying to hear it. I'm trying to stay focused on this work. And I'm asking all of you who hear me. We stream live all the time at urbanbroadcastmedia.com, but now we're broadcasting even further on our YouTube channel, and I want you, that camera, and this camera here, I want all of you to follow me and let us do this. And I'm telling you right now, and people, and again, one thing Reverend Barrow told me before she died, she said, everybody who got the right to vote didn't march for it, right? Everybody got the right to vote, didn't march for it. And even now, and y'all look at it. If you think I'm lying, y'all call me and tell me next week. Call me and tell me next week if I'm lying. But I'm telling you, 99.9% of a lot of the posts I read on Facebook are all reacting to something somebody else did. And what I'm telling you, and again, I can't speak for everybody. Because one thing I know in my over 40 years in this movement, the black voice never has and never will be monolithic. There's going to always be different opinions about some of everything. And so, if you don't agree with me that we need to be at the table with this $100 million that they're allocating for the South and West Side for development, okay. If you don't believe in me that this $400 million that HUD is still designating for the South and West Side redevelopment, then that's okay. If you don't agree with me that the hundreds of millions of dollars that the city is now reinvesting because of our work to put in our community-based banks for black business development, if you don't believe that in me, okay, I can't fight with you. I can agree to disagree and keep moving, and I ain't gonna argue about it. And I'll never tell you that what you're doing in your own way, in your voice, ain't the right thing either. That's what I've chosen to do, right? That's what I pledged to do when I thought I wasn't gonna have no voice no more. That's what I decided to do when I talked to Sister Toni Shelton, who's now got a contract to build these miniature houses in Chicago. We're gonna help lift her up to build those houses on all of this vacant land on the south and west sides. I think it's the right thing to do. I want to continue to work with the Monroe Foundation and with these different funders coming up, because this time next year, we're going to expand UBM to be even bigger as we get ready to launch a much bigger news network. Talk about DNA info close. So what? That wasn't us. They were just harming black people. Now I'm here at UBM, and you take it, let it alone. And I ain't mad about it. I'm just saying, my program is open. Just because you don't agree with me, tell me what you think the agenda is, and I'll bring you on tomorrow. And then you say what you think it is. I'm just saying, I have identified over $500 million that has been designated for the development and redevelopment of the south and west sides of Chicago that I would like to be at the table to make sure that black contractors and black professionals and black service providers, when all these campaigns are about to have the most expensive in campaign spending, I want to be at the table to tell them, put some real dollars in the black community. And I got more to talk about on civic education. And we're going to kick off a bigger news network, a bigger place where we can still come and tell our own story like we're doing right now in the black community. We can do it some more. And so if you disagree, I'm not mad, right? And I ain't going to get excited, and I ain't going back to the doctor. The next time I go back, it's going to be on my 1-year anniversary to go to the next level. I've been back 3 times. 3 times. And the doctor keeps saying, what part of don't do too much too fast, you don't understand. And I have to pray on it because my anxiety is up, right? But we're going to do it. But everything we're talking about is going to be on our pages. All right, Clock on the Wall says it's on, y'all. It's always been partying. Remember to believe in God because God is love. Love is what the world needs right now. Remember in life, nothing is guaranteed but the end. But we were born to die. But it's not that bad because in between birth and death, there's life. And it can be as positive as you want it to be, as long as you think positive. That means to keep a smile on your face and some warmth in your heart. And when a friend is down that they need you reach out and check them, okay? And remember to always stay positive, no matter how negative a situation may develop in your life. Remember that you are God's child. Yes, indeed, you are somebody. You can do whatever you want to do and be whatever you want to be with the power of your own mind. If your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, know within yourself you can achieve it. You got to believe in yourself first, and others will believe in you too. Until the next time, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm Mark Allen. Hear my voice. God willing, hear my voice, hear my voice, hear my voice, hear my voice. God bless.